G'day guys, the old mate Big J here, and welcome to another edition of Aussie Boxing Talk, the show that literally punches you right between the fucking eyes. And today, as the title says, I said, now Zuffa, if they want to expand into the Aussie boxing market, there are a number of boxes that would be available that they probably should acquire to build their brand, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Zuffa is doomed to fail from day one. If they see it to next Christmas, it'll be a miracle. Right? But having said that, and their business model, from what I can tell, is exactly like the business model of WCW back in the 90s. As I said, Turkey Al-Sheikh is just Eric Bischoff spending all Ted Turner's money, which is the Saudis, and pretty much doing whatever he did, doing whatever he wants. But the thing is that Eric did have a successful business model there for a while. And I think that Zuffa is probably going to do exactly the same thing. Now, with Aussie boxers, there are a number of boxers they can acquire that would bring legitimacy to their organisation. Look, I'll be frank, WCW back in the 90s was pretty much the place for has-been WWE stars and the build-up to younger guys. It was a place for has-beens and younger fellas. Because besides Sting, Ric Flair, and that's arguable, because the NWA made him more of a known figure than the WCW, and Goldberg, WCW really didn't build any stars. Like, if you're looking at, the Rey Mysterios and Eddie Guerreros and his best mate that we don't talk about, the Dean Malenkos, the Perry Satins, the Booker T's, those guys didn't really become stars until, and even the Big Show didn't become stars until they went to WWE. But WCW was also known for bringing established stars like the Hogans, the Savages, the Pipers, and even the Kevin Nashes and the Scott Halls, who were in the prime of their careers. Like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are different. They were the big two that got to go to WCW while they were in their primes. Right? Like the Hogans, the Savages, the Pipers, even the Bret Harts. These guys were over the prime of their careers, but they still had a lot to offer. And I think that's what Zuffa needs to do. And that's probably exactly what they'll do with trying to get established people to build up their brand. So, I mean, if they got Canelo, that would be the biggest coup of all time if they got Canelo to go to Zuffa. But I've looked at the divisions again. I'm looking at what Australian talent Zuffa can acquire to try and build up their repertoire, because there's a lot of legitimate names out there in Australian boxing that would be perfect for Zuffa to be as inaugural champions, so they can build up the brand off established boxers, as long as we give the up-and-coming guys ones that might never become legitimate world champions, but certainly, like, for guys that are the bridesmaids, never the bride, sort of say. Like Justice Huni, as I said, Justice Huni as heavyweight would be perfect, because I don't see Justice ever winning a legit world title. So, and maybe even in the time frame, like I think one guy, this might be a bit controversial, but there's one guy out there I think that might be perfect going to Zuffa while he's waiting to get a legit belt, because he's going to be at least 2-3 years off getting a legit belt if things go the way they're going in that particular division, but I'll get to that. So I'm thinking bantamweight, perfect Aussie guy for, and as I said, there has been some rumblings that Zuffa has already signed some Australian fighters, so I'm thinking bantamweight, Jason Maloney, former WBA bantamweight champion, fought Inoue, fought Emmanuel Rodriguez, a very legit bantamweight fighter. Yes, he's 35. Yes, he's over the prime of his career, but he's still got a bit in the tank. Like, they could put a belt on him within the next 6 months if they get him, and he can have the belt for 12 to 18 months for them to legitimize. And then even if they falter, at least Jason will get a couple of fights with some half-decent paydays before he retires. And if they get his brother, they can finally do what I've been saying I wanted to do for the last 4 years when I first met him, is that pay him $6 million to punch on. I mean, if Zuffa's got $15 million to waste on Conor Benn for one fight, surely they can come up with $6 million for the Maloney twins to punch on. So, why not? So I think Jason Maloney, former WBO bantamweight champion, would be, considering he's with Tasman Fighters, would be a pretty good signing for Zuffa if they want to legitimise their bantamweight division. Featherweight, you're looking at Sam Goodman. Sam Goodman, I think, is one of those guys. He's already had his world title shot. He probably will get another one. Well, not while Inoue's around, or Jinto Nakatani, because they'll just murder him. And that's the other problem. The 118, 122 divisions are owned by Japan. You ain't going to get any titles unless you go through those Japanese fighters. So I don't think Sam Goodman's going to get a title shot at 122 anytime soon. And once Inoue's done with Jinto Nakatani, he's going to move up to 126 and dominate that division anyway. So might be a good opportunity. Now, Sam Goodman's with No Limits, so I doubt it, but it's just throwing a name out there. Lightweight, got no further than George Kambosos Jr., who hasn't fought in it's been almost 2 years. It was May of 2024 when he fought Lomachenko. It is now April of 2026, so it's been 2 years since he fought him. So George Kambosos Jr., who's won pretty much every belt under the sun at lightweight, would be the perfect legitimate guy who's, remember, George is only, I think, 32, so he's certainly got enough in the tank. At lightweight, the perfect guy to kick off their lightweight division is George Kambosos Jr. And at the very least, it adds another belt to his trophy cabinet, which has already got like 6 or 7 in there anyway. So I think George at 135 would be the perfect guy from Australia. Welterweight, you're probably looking at, like, good signings would be Jake Wiley if he moves up, or if he was already competing at welterweight. I think he would be a good signing for Zuffa at welterweight. Middleweight, obviously, Mick Zuffa and Dylan Biggs. So I think that would be, I think Mick Zuffa, I mean, seriously, if Turkey's got so much money, why not throw a few million at Zuffa, Chris Eubank Jr.? I mean, why not? Is there any reason why Boxer wouldn't work with the Saudis? Or maybe because Eddie Hearn's there, so probably not, but who knows? But Mick Zuffa and Dylan Biggs will probably be some pretty good signings for middleweight. Cruiserweight, we've already got Jai. Heavyweight, I've already said Justice Hooney. Because I don't think Justice will ever win a legitimate belt. I just don't see it happening. But Zuffa belt is perfect for it. He's perfect for Zuffa. Perfect. Now, light heavyweight, this might be a bit controversial. People might say, oh, you're mad, but he is a Tasman fighter. Connor Wallace. I think Connor Wallace would be a perfect signing for Zuffa because he's not going to get a title shot because he's ranked very high. I think he's number 2 for the IBF. He ain't going to get no title shot anytime soon. Bivol is fighting again, and then I think he's going to fight. I think he's fighting Benavidez for the 3rd time, and even after that, I think he's going to fight Benavidez for undisputed. So I think Bivol's got to fight Benavidez for the 3rd time. Benavidez is fighting in May next month against Ramirez. If he beats Ramirez, which everyone thinks he will, which I don't think he will, I think Ramirez will crack the shit out of him personally. He'll come back down to 175 and then go after Bivol for undisputed. So Conor Wallace has got, I mean, those belts at light heavyweight are tied up for at least a year and a half, if not 2 years. So that gives Conor Wallace plenty of time to sign with Zuffa, become their light heavyweight champion, and, reign over for a year and a half until he can get a legitimate world title fight. So, or at least just get in some easy paydays. I mean, because you got to remember, boxing is a business. And at the end of the day, these guys are all prize fighters, and the idea is to fight the easiest fights for the biggest amount of money you can find. That's what every boxer does. I mean, you can't blame Tim Tszyu, who just fought that Albanian club fighter and got paid probably $1 million plus to do it. I mean, it's genius. He's getting paid to have easy fights, and he's making millions. He's making, he's making an absolute fortune. So, to get paid $1.5 million to fight a low-level competition, an easy win, sign me up. So that's what I think Zuffa will do. Will give the guys who have been at the top and on their way down the last moment in the sun or something. It's like an opportunity to build a legacy, if you will, even though I don't think it'll last more I don't think it'll last past into 2028. But still, if they can get some easy paydays, why the hell not? Because a lot of guys, I'll go back to my original, but a lot of the guys that went to WCW knew it was only going to be a short-term thing. It was only going to last 3 or 4 years. They were only going to get paid a shitload of money. And why not? I mean, some of those wrestlers in WCW could have easily retired on what they made in WCW. I don't know why some of them didn't. But, anyway. I really think those are some of the names that they should acquire. So Bantamweight, Jason Maloney and Andrew. I would love them to put on that brother versus brother fight. I mean, if there's ever a novelty fight out there that those two would do, Turkey Ali Sheik should ring up the Maloneys and say, I'll pay you guys $6 million and you two can punch on, because they'll do it. I guarantee they would. So that would be great. Get George back in there. He hasn't fought in 2 years. Get him a belt. Get him a payday. He can fight some, low-level competition or whatever to build a brand. Conor Wallace is the perfect guy. Justice is the perfect guy. I didn't say Tim Tszyu, because Tim Tszyu is like an established star. Established stars don't need Zuffa. It's the guys who's been at the top, but they're on the decline, and the guys who will probably never get there. Those are the guys that need Zuffa. The guys who are established and who are already stars, they don't need Zuffa. It's the guys on the way up and on the way down that need them. So, what do you think, guys? You think these guys would be some interesting signings for Zuffa, or am I just talking shit? Let me know in the comments. But I think it's pretty fair, because if I was a businessman, I was looking at, well, if Zuffa's offering me $2 million to fight some easy beat for a belt, I'd fucking do it. Who wouldn't? So, there you go, guys. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section. Take a ball, wrestle, rock hard, and yourselves the fuck up. We'll see you another day.